Perfect. Perfect.
All right, everybody, what is going on? And welcome to today's edition of SWAC Talk. This is a show we cover the SWAC inside and out, and I'm your tour guide around the SWAC. See what's coming at you. And today, man, we're just gonna do a real quick recap of the SWAC TV schedule, pretty much week by week. All games that are listed officially as being televised, and we'll just kind of go over those games week by week. And I'm gonna give my thoughts on each week, like watchability, or my thoughts on the week as a whole. And also, we're gonna kind of give you a little update on what the calendar is gonna be like for SWAC Talk during the season. Got a couple things I want to try to do new this year, and other things that we typically already do. So let's go ahead and start with that, man. We'll start with the housekeeping. I'm gonna put some of this on the socials, so hit those socials: Facebook is SWACTalk, Instagram SWACTalk, Twitter SWACTalk76. Hit that subscribe button, and once you do, hit that join button to become a member, because there's gonna be some things I talk about here that you'll be able to take part in if you become a member of the channel. Like the video, share it, and feel free to comment on any thoughts or anything about the upcoming season. So we'll go ahead and start off with a little SWAC Talk schedule update, housekeeping, whatever you want to call it. We will be doing every week on Wednesdays, which is our normal SWAC Talk day. Wednesdays will be our preview for the upcoming week. Sunday, the following Sunday after the games, will, as usual, will be our weekly recap. Gonna try to do things a little bit differently this year. Gonna try to focus more on the game of the week, which I'll announce probably like on Monday on my socials. But try to do more focus on the game of the week, and then other games of interest, kind of give them a little bit more attention, but probably focus more on the actual game of the week. And then we'll recap those games on Sunday. One of the things that I'm thinking about doing, and I'm not quite sure how I want to do it, is on Saturday, on game days, I may go live early in the day, kind of like a pregame show, or like kind of like as the action takes place during the early games, or depending on how I'm feeling after a game, I may do a post-game show, like not really a recap, but more like a general thoughts type of show on Saturday after games. That's all going to depend on the schedule, going to games. If I get back home in a decent time, or if I'm out of town or whatever, I may just do a live pre-type show, especially if I'm away at a game. So gonna try to do a little bit more on Saturdays to tie into the actual games, and also gonna have we rolled out our first HBCU poll last week, so that's gonna be something that we update week by week. I'm gonna do a kind of like a poll show. Oh, that didn't sound good. that didn't sound good. I'm gonna try to do a show that that gives my thoughts on my poll. That's just bad. Yeah. I'm gonna try to give thoughts on how things are shaping up week by week. So I may do that as more of a members type of thing. So if you want to give your thoughts, I may do a live on that. But mainly that may just be a members type of thing. And you can partake in that and you can give your top 10, and we can kind of go through and compare and contrast. So that's something that we're going to try to do, and probably try to do some some contests during the season once things kind of get going. to kind of spice some things up. But the main focus is Wednesday's recap. Wednesday's previews, Thursday SWAC Smoke, which is gonna also cover those weekly games and whatever else comes in the play. Top 10 show probably on Monday or Tuesday, not quite sure yet. And I'm probably gonna piggyback that top 10 with the HBCU band top 10. I know a lot of people not really into the band thing, but that's a new thing with the championship at the end of the season. So probably do a look at that, and get at a little shine. And other than that, like I said, it's all business as usual. Wednesdays, SWAC Talk, gonna preview games, Sunday recap, and I'm gonna do a Saturday show depending on my schedule, either before or after the games. So that'll be a kind of free flowing type of thing. So wanted to go ahead and put that out there, just to kind of give an update on what's going on. All that'll be on the socials, so you can check that out at your leisure. Now let's go ahead and jump into the topic of today's show. And I ain't gonna hold y'all long. Just want to get in and get out. I did do a show earlier in the year where I gave my games of interest for the 2023 season, and though that may change because I did that really early in the year, before things really got ramped up. So things are changing. So I may change that as we go. But I'm gonna link that video in the description. But I'm going to go over the week-by-week TV schedule for the season and kind of give my thoughts on that week in particular. So we'll start off with Saturday, coming up Saturday, August 26th, MEAC SWAC Challenge from Atlanta, Georgia. Kicks off at 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time on ABC. So y'all make sure y'all check that out. ABC, week 0, no competition. You can't, you ain't got to worry about nothing else. So just go ahead and tune into that. That's obviously a 10 out of 10 just for just because it's the first game of the year, it's an anticipated game. So we'll rate that was a 10 out of 10 on the week. Week 1 starts off on Thursday at 7 p.m. East, 7 p.m. Central. Pine Bluff is at Tulsa. That game's on ESPN Plus. Saturday games, Hampton and Grambling playing in the Brick City Classic in New Jersey. 2 p.m. kickoff. That's on the NFL Network. Central State and Valley in the Chicago Classic, 3 o'clock kickoff. HBCU Go will be broadcasting that game. And then you have a slew of games on ESPN Plus to wrap up the evening. Southern and Alabama State, 5 p.m. kick. ESPN Plus, Alabama A&M at Vandy. 6 p.m. kick, SEC Network Plus, or ESPN Network Plus, ESPN Plus, excuse me, Bethune-Cookman at Memphis, 6 p.m. kick, ESPN Plus, Alcorn at Southern Miss, 6 p.m. kick, ESPN Plus, the Labor Day Classic, Prairie View at Texas Southern, ESPN Plus, 7 p.m. kick, and then rounding out the week on Sunday is the Orange Blossom Classic in Miami, 2 p.m. kick on ESPN, Jackson State versus Florida A&M. This is a good first week of football, man. Not a lot of FBS games. There's 4 FBS games, and other than that, there's only 1 sub D1 game. So there's two official SWAC games and 1 SWAC game that don't count in the standings. So a lot of FCS versus FCS action. Then you got a out of conference matchup. So this is a really good first week. This is one of the better first weeks that I've seen in a long time. A lot of games that are really, really good to watch. Those few FBS games, those, kind of bring things down a little bit. But I give this week an 8, man. This is a really strong first week of football. Thursday is it's an interesting game just because it's the first game of the week. And it's Coach Hampton's first game at Pine Bluff, so you might want to catch a little bit of that. And then the Saturday games are pretty much all solid, other than the FBS matchups. So got Valley playing in their first game in a game that they should win, which is good. Got Bethune-Cookman with Coach Woody in their first game as head coach. You got a nice running back matchup with Alcorn and Southern Miss, Frank Gore Jr. and Jarvion Howard. And then you got your Labor Day Classic, which speaks for itself. And Southern Alabama State is an underrated game. That's going to be probably a defensive game more than anything. And Hampton and Grambling is a nice non-conference matchup, and you wrap the week up with the biggest game of the year, honestly. Especially if you look at off the field and the talking and everything. So nice week one, man. I like this week one. I'm really happy with it. Moving on to week two. This week is a little bit of a mixed bag. You open up the day Saturday, September 9th with Texas Southern going to Toledo, 2:30 kick. All these times are Central Standard Time, so 2:30 kick, ESPN Plus. Savannah State at Bethune-Cookman, 3 p.m. kick. No TV announced yet. Miles at Alabama State, 5 p.m. kick. Again, no TV announced. Abilene Christian at Prairie View. This will be on the Prairie View Sports Network. 6 p.m. kickoff. Alcorn at Stephen F. Austin, ESPN Plus, 6 p.m. kick. The Southern Heritage Classic, Pine Bluff versus Tennessee State in Memphis, 6 p.m. kick. ESPN 8. HBCU Go broadcast. Florida A&M at USF, ESPN Plus, 6 p.m. kick. Got Southern and Jackson State facing off in Baton Rouge, 6 p.m. kick. ESPN Plus. Lane at Alabama A&M, 6 p.m. kick. No TV announced. And LSU hosts Grambling, 6:30 kick. SEC Network Plus, ESPN Plus. Again, this week almost feels more like a week one to me in a lot of ways. You have three sub D1 games, and you have 2 FBS games. That leaves the Southern Heritage Classic, which is interesting for the fact that it's Pine Bluff playing in this game this season instead of Jackson State. Two nice non-conference matchups with Alcorn at Stephen F. Austin and Abilene Christian at Prairie View. And then your only game with 2 SWAC teams, again, don't count in conference standards, is a big game, big rivalry game, Jackson at Southern. That game is probably the game that you can really, there's no other real game, honestly, that I would label as my game of the week for week 2, because there's a lot of, out of conference games that are either FBS games or D2 games. So not a great week. If you're a neutral person, not a great week. Depending on how you feel about, SWAC and non-conference games, that Prairie View Abilene Christian game would be one to watch, and Alcorn and Stephen F. Austin as well. I would definitely keep my eyes on the Southern Heritage Classic just because this is Pine Bluff's time in this game, and see what kind of atmosphere they help provide in that game. So week 2, I would probably give it like a 5, man. It's not bad, it's not good. But I think the Boombox Classic, Southern Jackson State, Pete Richardson Classic, whatever you want to call it, I think that buoys the week and helps it look a little bit better. Because other than that, it's mainly non-FCS games. Moving on to week 3, Bethune-Cookman is at Miami on Thursday, September 14th, 6:30 p.m. kickoff, ACC Network. Then Saturday game, September 16th, you got Florida Memorial at Grambling, 2 p.m. kick, ESPN Plus. Miles at UAPB, 4 p.m. kick, UAPB Sports Network. Florida A&M at hosts West Florida, 5 p.m. kick. That's HBCU Go. That's what's listed. I'm not sure about that one. Jackson State at Texas State, 6 p.m. kick, ESPN Plus. Alcorn is hosting McNeese, 6 p.m. kick. TV to be announced. If it is, it's probably ESPN Plus. Texas Southern at Rice, ESPN Plus, 6 p.m. kick. Prairie View at SMU, 6 p.m. kick, ESPN Plus. Alabama A&M at Southern, 6 p.m. kick, ESPN Plus. And Valley is at Delta State, 6 p.m. kick. Valley Sports Network is what's listed. So this week, again, a lot of non-conference games. McNeese and Alcorn obviously is a game that's a game of interest because SWAC needs those non-conference wins. Only one SWAC matchup, and this time is actually a SWAC game, and that's Alabama A&M at Southern. So if you're looking for a SWAC on SWAC action, that's your only opportunity right there. Florida A&M and West Florida is a matchup a lot of people been talking about. So if you kind of want to see, how that goes, there's definitely the one Jackson State at Texas State. There's another game to kind of keep an eye on. Not this week is another kind of not great week. So I probably rate this one as another 5, man. I don't really feel too moved by this game, by this week. If this was a week I wasn't going to my own team game, it'd be kind of tough to pick what game I would want to watch. Moving on to week 4, September 21st on Thursday, Pine Bluff is at Alabama A&M. 6:30 kick on ESPNU. The Circle City Classic, Valley and North Carolina Central hook up in Indianapolis. 2 p.m. kick. No TV announced yet for that game, but hopefully that game does get a broadcast somewhere. Texas Southern at Grambling, 2 p.m. kick. HBCU Go. Alabama State at Florida A&M. 5 p.m. kick. ESPN Plus. Alcorn at Prairie View at Alcorn. 6 p.m. kick. ESPNU broadcast, and Bethune-Cookman at Jackson State. 6 p.m. kick. ESPN Plus. September 23rd games on Saturday. This is a good week of football, man. You got a Thursday night game that's inoffensive. It's not a big game, but it's a game that could be a game that's interesting to watch depending on how Pine Bluff is playing. But it's SWAC football on a Thursday, so at least you tune in for some of that. And then you got Prairie View at Alcorn, which is a big SWAC West game. You got Alabama State at Florida A&M, which is a big East Division game. And you got Texas Southern at Grambling, which is a big West Division game. Valley at North Carolina Central is not necessarily a game that I would list as a game to watch because of the two teams. But, being able to watch a team like North Carolina Central, who is probably going to be the front runner to make the Celebration Bowl from the MEAC, is always a good opportunity to kind of see what the other side is looking like. So hopefully that game is televised, but right now it's not listed as being televised. But this is a strong week of football, man. This is like I would honestly rate this like a 9 because those Saturday games are really strong. They got 3 really strong Saturday games that kind of boost up everything else. So this is a good week of football. September 23rd, that's a really good week of games to watch. Week 5 is Saturday, September 30th. You got Lincoln at Texas Southern, 2 p.m. kick. AT&T Sports. Tuskegee at Alabama A&M, 3 p.m. kick. HBCU Go. Southern at Pine Bluff, UAPB Sports Network. Alcorn at Alabama State, 5 p.m. kick. No TV announced yet. State Fair Classic, Grambling and Prairie View. ESPN Plus, 6 p.m. kick. And Florida A&M at Valley Sports Network, 6 p.m. kick. This is an okay week of football. You got Tuskegee at Alabama A&M. That's Bulldogs homecoming, but it's also an old SIAC rivalry. So there's a lot of intrigue there. You got State Fair Classic, which is going to be big for West Division standings. Alcorn at Alabama State is an interesting cross-division matchup. And then you got FAMU at Valley, which I don't think this is going to be one of those games I would label as a game of the week, but Valley always finds a way to play tough at home. So, if you wanted to see Valley, maybe try to catch somebody at home. This is one of those games to watch. But this is a I would rate this week like a 7. It's not a bad week of football, but it's not a lot of marquee games. But there's really solid games that can be fun to watch. So you got one big rivalry game, and then you got a old rivalry hooking up again on a homecoming. So that kind of boosts the atmosphere, and you got some pretty solid SWAC games there. So moving on to week 6, October 7th, Bethune-Cookman is at Alabama State. That's your HBCU Go game, 2 p.m. kickoff. Grambling at Alcorn, 3:30 kick. Is right now just listed at ESPN Network. Jackson State versus Alabama A&M in Mobile, 4 p.m. kick, ESPN Plus. Valley at Prairie View, 6 p.m. kick, TV to be announced. And Southern at Florida A&M at Southern, 6 p.m. kick, also listed as ESPN Network. This is another strong week of football. You got Alcorn and Grambling playing. I think there's Alcorn homecoming if I'm correct. But either way, that's a big West Division matchup. You got Jackson State, Alabama A&M. That's a good East Division matchup. You got Valley and Prairie View, which is a game that most times would not have any real interest, but Valley's beat Prairie View the last 2 years, so that's a little bit of an intrigue right there. And then you got Florida A&M and Southern, which is a long-standing rivalry. The two teams who have been picked by the media to win their respective divisions. So this is a big game. This game probably carries this week. But there are some strong games. Other than that, I would say 3 out of the 5 games are really, really solid games. With that Valley Prairie View game being a game of some intrigue just because of what Valley was able to do to Prairie View the last 2 years. But really good weekend. I'll give this week another 9. I think this is another strong week of football. October 14th, which is my birthday, for anybody interested out there. October 14th, week 7. Let's see what the football gods got for my birthday. We got Texas Southern at Bethune-Cookman, 2 p.m. kick, HBCU Go. Alabama A&M at Grambling, 2 p.m. kick, ESPN Plus. We got Alabama State at Jackson State, 2 p.m. kick, ESPN Plus. Valley at Pine Bluff at Valley, 2 p.m. kick on the Valley Sports Network. Lincoln at Southern, 4 p.m. kick on Jaguar Network. Prairie View at Houston Christian, 6 p.m. kick, ESPNU Plus. Let me skip. I can't talk. ESPN Plus kickoff. This week is ugly, man. This is an ugly week. You have probably 2 games on the schedule this week that have any intrigue. Alabama State at Jackson would obviously most likely be my game of the week if I had to pick it right now, just because of JSU homecoming, a lot of back and forth the last couple of years. Alabama A&M at Grambling is an underrated type of game. I think this could be a game that helps both teams, or hurts both teams. So that would be it. Other than that, you don't really have a lot of anything. That Pine Bluff Valley game could be the one shot at a SWAC win for both these teams. So I mean, I don't. Depending on how these 2 teams are playing, that might be a game you want to watch. It might not be. But other than that, man, this is a low week. I'm actually gonna get this week a 4, man. It's not a lot of big games on the schedule, and not a lot of your big dogs not really playing each other. And you got a lot of you got a couple games that just not really vibing with me, and then you got that Lincoln game which is ugly on all sides. So moving on to week 8, October 21st. Alcorn at Pine Bluff, 2 p.m. kick, HBCU Go. Valley hosts Jackson State, ESPN Plus, 2 p.m. kick. Southern is at Bethune-Cookman, 3 p.m. kick, TV to be announced. Florida A&M at Texas Southern is a 7 p.m. kick, ESPN Plus. Again, another week that's not great. Texas Southern and Florida A&M is the game of the week, probably hands down. Valley and Jackson is always interesting in Ida Bena, so you might want to check that out. Alcorn and Pine Bluff, they have some weird matchups, so you might want to catch that as well. But not a great week, man. I'm just gonna rate it a 5, man, because it's not great, but you do have Jackson State playing, you got Southern playing, you got FAMU playing. So those are 3 of your bigger teams playing. Alcorn is playing. All the teams are on the road, which is kind of odd to them all to be on the road on the same week. So a lot of those folks may not go to some of those games, so they'll be able to watch them. But it's not a real entertaining week of football. But hey, it's SWAC football, so definitely don't want to miss it. All SWAC games that week, so that definitely at least helps boost the intrigue. Moving on to week 9, which is October 28th, you got Valley at Alcorn, 2 p.m. kick on Alcorn's network. Bethune-Cookman at Grambling, 2 p.m. kick, HBCU Go. Jackson State at Pine Bluff, 2 p.m. kick, ESPN Network. All Alabama State at Alabama versus Alabama A&M. Magic City Classic in Birmingham, 2:30 kick, ESPN Plus. Prairie View at Florida A&M, 3 p.m. kick, ESPN Network, and Texas Southern at Southern, 4 p.m. kick, Southern Sports Network. This is a good week of football. You got Man City Classic, obviously, is the game that really is, the big name game of the week. You got Prairie View at FAMU. That's a nice cross division matchup. You got Southern at Texas Southern. That's a game with some intrigue in it. So you got 3 nice SWAC games. The other 3 games are maybe not that great, but they set the tone for at least the early afternoon game. The afternoon games set the tone for the evening games. So I give this week a 6. Not bad, not great, but it's okay. All 12 teams are in action in SWAC play, so that definitely gives it that extra point because now you're coming into the last week of October. Things should start to be rounded into shape, and you got some pretty decent matchups there and a big rivalry game to kind of anchor that week. Week 10 is November 4th. You have a Thursday night game on November 2nd, Valley at Bethune-Cookman, ESPNU, 6:30 kick. Florida A&M at Alabama A&M, 1 p.m. kick on ESPN Plus. Texas Southern at Jackson State, 2 p.m. kick, ESPN Plus. Pine Bluff at Prairie View, that's HBCU Go game, 2 p.m. kick. Alcorn hosts Southern at 2 o'clock, ESPN Plus. Grambling versus Alabama State in Mobile, 4 p.m. kick. No TV announced yet. This is a solid week. This is almost a low key good week. Florida A&M at Alabama A&M should be an interesting game. They've had 2 real good matchups in their first two years playing against each other as SWAC opponents. Texas Southern at Jackson State is potentially could be a really big game. Southern and Alcorn is a big game for West Division supremacy. And you got Grambling and Alabama State. That could be a really solid matchup. The only game that that doesn't really hold any intrigue to me is Pine Bluff and Prairie View. Valley and Bethune-Cookman is a Thursday night game, so it kind of get a little extra bump just because of that. And that could be another one of those. This may be the only chance for you to get a SWAC win game. So if for no other reason, you want to watch that game, another full week of SWAC football, all 12 teams in action. Couple really big games, one big division game, a couple cross division games that could be interesting. So pretty solid week. I give it a 7. So not, it bumped up a little bit more. But I do like that week. And it'd be a good week to watch football. November 11th is week 11. We have a Friday night game. Pine Bluff hosts Grambling on ESPNU, 8 p.m. kick, late kick on a Friday night. I'm not a big fan of college football on Friday nights. To me, Friday is for high school football. But this is an opportunity to be broadcast on TV. Like I said, late kick though, 8 p.m. That's pretty late. You got on Saturday, November 11th, Bethune-Cookman hosts Alabama A&M, 12 p.m. kick, HBCU Go. Alcorn at Texas Southern, 2 p.m. kick, ESPN Plus. Prairie View at Southern, 2 p.m. kick, ESPN Plus. Alabama State at Valley, 2 p.m. kick, Valley Sports Network. Lincoln is at Florida A&M. That's a 5 p.m. kick. Rattlers Plus are at the FAMU Network. This is a solid week. It's not great. You got 2 big West Division games, which definitely carries this week. Alcorn at Texas Southern and Prairie View at Southern. I think those 2 games carry this week. That Friday night game, like I said, I just don't like Friday night games, so that kind of hurts. I rate this at a 5 because of that Friday night game. I just don't like Friday night college football. But the 2 Saturday big games, they both at the same time, which I kind of wish they were staggered. But those are 2 West Division matchups that are huge. And the other 2 conference games on Saturday are kind of, I don't say afterthoughts, but they are both East Division matchups. And then right now they don't draw a lot of intrigue. Moving on to week 12, which is the final week of multiple SWAC games. We have another Thursday night game. This time, Valley at Alabama A&M. That game was moved to Thursday, like last week. So that's a 6 p.m. kick. I think ESPNU, but right now they don't have it listed. Saturday, November 18th, Pine Bluff is at Texas Southern, 3 p.m. kick. HBCU Go. Alabama State at Prairie View, 2 p.m. kick at ESPN Plus. Alcorn at Jackson in the Soul Bowl, 2 p.m. kick. ESPN Plus, and then Florida Classic, Bethune-Cookman and FAMU in Orlando, 2:30 kick on the ESPN network. This is it starts off a little rocky, but it ends strong. So you have two big rivalries on this schedule, which kind of boost this week up to like a 6 or 7. I'd be nice to give it a 7. On the strength of those two rivalry games. Other than that, you don't really have anything, too must watch. Alabama State and Prairie View could be an interesting game. Valley at Alabama A&M, that's Thursday night football, like I said, so that kind of gives it a little bit of a boost. But Florida A&M, Bethune-Cookman, obviously Bethune-Cookman is not projected to be great, but this is a huge rivalry, and I'm always a sucker for big rivalry games, and sometimes you never know what's gonna happen in them kind of games, and that's why you want to watch them. So Florida Classic and the Soul Bowl definitely carry this week. Again, this is another week where I wish those games were kind of staggered, but you'll be able to kind of flip and watch them. So really solid week of football for the last full week of football, and then that takes us to the final regular season week, week 13. Which is Thanksgiving weekend, and Thursday, November 23rd, which is Thanksgiving. That's the Turkey Day Classic. Alabama State hosts Tuskegee, 2 p.m. kick, ESPN Plus. And then on Saturday, the Bayou Classic, 1 p.m. kick on NBC, or the Peacock, Southern and Grambling in New Orleans. This is a good week. I give it an 8. Obviously, two huge rivalries. The Bayou Classic, it doesn't really necessarily depend on who's playing, on who's doing what, but if it has that extra intrigue, it can definitely kind of help boost it up. But I think that these are two really good games to watch. One on Thursday and one on Saturday, so they each got their own time to kind of do their thing. So that's a really good week. And like I said, there's not a lot of bad weeks of football on the schedule this season. So other than October 14th, which is probably the weakest week on the season, this is a pretty solid season for SWAC football. And closing out the SWAC season is the SWAC championship. 3 p.m. kick on ESPN2 at the home of the highest seeded team. So we'll find out who's playing in that once we get to that point. But that game will be televised on ESPN2, 3 p.m. kick, and really good opportunity there. And that pretty much does it. That pretty much does it for our week by week kickoff, week by week schedule, and we'll close it out with the Celebration Bowl, December 16th, 2023, 11 a.m. kickoff, Atlanta, Georgia. I think the game's on 8. Is the game on ABC? I didn't even see it. But that's gonna do it for today's show. Thank y'all for tuning in and kind of getting this little SWACTalk update and going over the week by week schedule. So we'll catch y'all on another edition of SWACTalk, and y'all have a good day. Enjoy the rest of y'all weekend, and we'll be back with our week 0 preview on Wednesday. Man, it's finally time, man. Football is here, so we'll do that, and we'll catch y'all on the rebound. Peace.